Africa is often viewed as fragmented, 54 countries, diverse economies, uneven development. But at a system level, it represents something else entirely, the largest remaining growth frontier in the global economy. Young population, expanding cities, and untapped resources, all converging at the same time. Africa has the youngest population in the world. By 2050, it is expected to account for a significant share of global population growth, which means more workers, more consumers, and more economic activity. Cities are expanding rapidly. Urbanization drives productivity, concentrating labor, capital, and infrastructure in high-output zones. Africa holds significant shares of global reserves in critical resources, minerals, energy, and agricultural potential. These resources are essential for industrial production and future technologies. As the global economy evolves, especially with electrification and digital infrastructure, demand for these resources increases, which connects Africa directly to future supply chains. Combine demographics with resources and urbanization, and you get a high-growth potential region with the ability to reshape global production and consumption patterns. This is why Africa is no longer peripheral. It is becoming central to future growth projections. Africa, the next growth engine, others want to control. Controlling resources is not just about extraction. It's about controlling the value chain, from raw material to processing to final product. Historically, much of Africa exported raw materials, while higher value processing happened elsewhere. This limited domestic value capture. As Africa's importance grows, external powers increase engagement, not just for trade, but for long-term positioning. China has invested heavily in infrastructure, ports, railways, and energy projects. This improves connectivity, but also strengthens long-term economic ties. The United States engages through investment, trade partnerships, and strategic initiatives, focusing on technology, governance, and market access. The European Union remains deeply connected through trade, aid, and historical ties. Geography and proximity reinforce this relationship. This creates a competitive environment, multiple global powers seeking influence over the same region. So the real question isn't whether Africa will grow, it's who will shape that growth and where the value will be captured. Economic growth depends on infrastructure, ports, railways, power grids, and digital networks. Who builds and finances this infrastructure often shapes how trade flows. Routes determine costs, costs determine competitiveness, control the infrastructure, and you influence the direction of economic activity. Infrastructure requires capital. Many African countries rely on external financing, loans, development funds, and bilateral agreements, which means the terms of financing can influence long-term economic decisions. When borrowing increases faster than economic output, debt pressure builds. Servicing that debt requires stable revenue, often from exports. If export prices fall, pressure increases. In some cases, financing is linked directly to resources. Infrastructure is built in exchange for long-term access to commodities. This connects physical assets to future resource flows. A key limitation remains. Much of Africa's resource extraction is not matched by local processing capacity. Raw materials are exported. Value is added elsewhere. The difference between exporting raw materials and finished goods is significant. Processing, manufacturing, and branding capture the majority of value. Many economies remain dependent on a limited set of export commodities. This creates vulnerability to price fluctuations and external demand cycles. Trade is often conducted in foreign currencies. This exposes economies to exchange rate risk and external monetary conditions. External financing, trade agreements, and currency exposure can limit policy flexibility. Decisions are influenced not just by domestic needs, but by external conditions. This is how influence operates. Infrastructure shapes access. Financing shapes decisions. Trade structures shape outcomes. Together, they define how growth is realized. Africa is now a multi-actor environment. Different global powers operate simultaneously, each with distinct strategies and priorities. China focuses on infrastructure and long-term trade integration. Projects are often large-scale and rapidly executed, connecting resources to global supply chains. The United States emphasizes private investment, technology, and institutional partnerships, focusing on sectors like digital infrastructure, finance, and services. The European Union leverages trade agreements, development financing, and geographic proximity, maintaining deep economic integration. These approaches overlap, multiple systems operating in the same space, sometimes complementary, sometimes competitive. African countries are not passive participants. They negotiate, select partners, and structure deals based on national priorities. Competition between external powers can create leverage. More options can lead to better terms if managed effectively. But misalignment, poor contract terms, overdependence, or weak execution can reduce long-term benefits. Africa's growth trajectory is strong. Demographics, resources, and urbanization support expansion. But outcomes will vary. Growth alone does not determine value capture. The key difference is not growth, but control over growth. Who owns the assets? Who captures the value? Africa's position in the global system is still evolving, from resource supplier toward potential industrial and consumer hub. External interest reflects internal potential. The more valuable the system becomes, the more competition it attracts. Africa is not just a region of growth. It is a system being shaped in real time by internal decisions and external forces, because the next engine of global growth is also the next arena of control. Military power wins wars. Currency power decides who never gets to fight one. Subscribe to Learning BizCraft today.